this question I'm going to set up relatively quickly because we've done a couple of examples, so I just want to make sure that we're okay on this with the free body diagram. So we have T1, T2, and mg, which is the force of gravity, which is 100 newtons here. And the way this question is going to work is we're actually going to set up x and y components. And I just like to basically make this T2x, T2y. This will be T1x and T1y. And we will use trig components, but just to be careful. So vertically we have T2y minus T1, plus T1y minus 100 equals 0. Keeping this in mind, that's going to be T2 times the sine of 40 plus T1 times the sine of 60 equals 100 when we simplify. Now let's throw a couple numbers into our calculator. I want to get the sine of 40 and the sine of 60. So this is going to be 0.6. So 0.64, so 0.64 T2 plus T1, 0.87 equals 100. Now horizontally we're going to say that T1x minus T2x equals 0. And so that's going to give us that T1 times 0.5, because it's the cosine of 60, minus T2 times the cosine of 40, which is 0.77, equals 0. Now, what that tells us is that T1 is actually going to equal T2 times 0.77 divided by 0.5. When we simplify that, that's going to be T1 equals 1.54 T2. And I can actually go ahead and substitute that into here. So I'm going to get 0.64 T2 plus 1.54 T2 times 0.87 equals 100. Simplifying this further, that's going to give me about 1.97 T2 equals 100. So I'm getting about 51 for T2. And that means T1 is going to equal about 78. All right, so that's it for the practice test. I'll try to get the challenge problems on there eventually, but given that I want to make sure that we're first and foremost ready for the actual test, that may need to wait. So this is the end of the actual required part of the test, and I'll upload these videos shortly.